Welcome to another episode of Courageous Me. And I'm so pumped because I've got a woman here. We both were on stage at the recent MDRT conference over in Miami, USA. Now, this woman was the session before me. So, of course, I was there watching and supporting. And oh my God, I absolutely loved it. I fell in love with her energy, her message, everything. And then I was on after her. So we both got to be each other's cheerleaders. And oh my God, it's so cool. So now I've got her here because now I want to know more about that beautiful woman behind her, behind that woman that I saw on stage. Her name is Dorice Horenstein, and she is a champion catalyst. So I'm going to have to learn about what that means. But Dorice, before we get into the nitty gritty, could you just share what excites you to have a conversation with me today about courage?
So first of all, I have to start with gratitude and thank you for having me here on your show. That's like absolutely a dream come true to be interviewed by you, to have this girlfriend chat where everybody in the world can hear us. That is amazing. And maybe that's really what excites me about this. It takes courage to be vulnerable, to share about yourself, it's a conversation between you and I, but then other people are listening. So if I step out of, my comfort zone, I don't know who's listening. I think that's courageous step when we speak and we don't know who is the listener, but what we do hope that it would land on ripe ears. That's what I'm hoping, that whatever we speak today is going to be meaningful to somebody. Somebody will take it home and say, I treasure that. To me, that is the courageous part that puts not only myself, but also you out of your comfort zone.
Oh, absolutely. And do you know what's so interesting about what you just said? I don't know where this conversation is going to go. I've got no idea. So you know how some podcasts have pre-scripted questions and you then hand them to the question, so you've got a bit of a flow. I've got no idea. And the vulnerable part is I want to know about you, the human. I want to know, yes, I can see the amazing work and how you show up in the world doing the work that you do. But the vulnerable bit is I want to know who's the person behind all that. Who is the human being that I saw stand on that stage in Miami and thought, I have to know more about who she is. So, yeah, and that takes courage. And that's what this is about. So to put some context for everyone listening, could you just tell me what you do and just a little bit about you before we delve into more about you and courage?
Absolutely. So I live, first of all, where I live in Portland, Oregon, USA. That is the Pacific Northwest of the United States of America. I've been here for 38 years. Originally, I'm from Israel. I arrived here in America at the age of 21 with $600, one suitcase, no coat. In the month of December, we're here in the United States. That's winter. Okay. So this is where I land. And I made this place my home. So that's a little bit about this. Now, what do I do now before we go back in time? Yep. I am a professional speaker, international speaker. I'm a positive intelligence expert, and I'm an author of 2 books, Moments of the Heart and Choose to Be Your Own Champion. But what I really do, so that was the title, but what I really do is I ignite and give power to the champion within each and every one of us. I help transition from people being disconnected to themselves, to other people, to their workplace, to their own purpose and mission in life. And I bring them into full awareness and clarity of who they are, and then how they get to become who they want to become. What is the legacy that they want to leave behind? And I use the champion mindset, the winning mindset, to get us there. So that's what I really do.
Oh my gosh. And anyone listening, can you see why I love this woman? Can you just feel the energy from her oozing out into the whole sphere around us? It's absolutely delicious.
Kim, I must say something.
Yes.
You speak about energy and you spoke about it several times now. And in every single talk of mine, and you've been in my talk, so you know, I start the talk by having people measure their energy and bring the right energy into the room, because you and I know it's a choice. It's a choice of how to use and bundle and treasure your energy. And also the understanding that energy is contagious.
Yeah.
According to Daniel Goleman,
Yeah.
the author who wrote the book Emotional Intelligence, it
Mm.
takes 7 minutes for somebody else to actually be ignited by your energy, either up or down. So
Mhm.
we have an important thing in life. It's like, what do we want the energy to be in the sphere of where we are? And I think both you and I, we want the good energy. We want the contagious energy that people say, I want more of this.
Totally. And I heard something ages ago and I can't remember where I heard it, so I'm not going to get the source right. And it said, if you're somewhere, just say you're at a party or an event and there's no energy in it, it's because you forgot to bring it. And I thought, oh, that's so true, because it goes back to what you're saying, that if you can be like, I always, I like to think before I go into something, my intention is to radiate energy and to radiate the right type of energy, which is usually the positive, uplifting. Now, that doesn't always mean being rah-rah when that's not appropriate, but it means the right type. So, yeah, this is
I
so good.
walk on a stage. I do a little act when I walk on a stage and I say, okay, watch this energy. And I walk in a way kind of slump, kind of like, and then I walk again in a way that a champion walks.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not meaning like a sports champion. I'm meaning anybody who value who they are, what they bring, that they have something to offer to the world, right? How
Yeah.
do you show up in a place, in a board meeting, with your girlfriends, in your cubicle, in your workplace? Doesn't matter. To your partner, how do you show up?
Yeah.
And how do you change that energy? I do believe the important part is the fact that we are gifted with the concept of choosing. We choose, and we are the product of our choices. I don't care what anybody else says. We are. It doesn't mean
Completely
that
agree.
whatever happens to us, it doesn't mean that whatever happened to us was our fault, but how we respond, that's on
Yeah.
us. That's
Oh,
on us.
so true. Oh my gosh. It is so true. Oh my gosh. Now, can you share with us? Because I want to know now more about you, right? Like this woman that just oozes energy. Where have you come from? What's your story? So can you just start with, where is a moment, and I don't care how far back you've got to go, it could be yesterday, it could be when you're a little girl, but where is a moment when you really had to reach in and find some courage in your life?
I grew up with a relatively, I don't want to say poor family, but very low mean family.
Yes.
We didn't have much money. But what is the thing that we did have in abundance was love. We were 5 in the siblings. I'm number 2 in the order. My dad was working in construction. My mom sometimes worked 3 jobs just to keep the family afloat. We didn't have money. So I remember I was in 9th grade, 14 years old, and I wanted to have what the other girls had. And I know it's going to sound ridiculous, but they all had Nike shoes and Levi's pants. Okay. And I didn't. And I couldn't, my parents couldn't afford it to me. So at that age, I remember I made a decision, and I think that was my first courageous thing, to clean houses. I decided that I will clean homes of 2 elderly women, and in the money that I will make cleaning those homes, I will buy my Levi's pants and my Nike shoes. And other 14-year-old in the neighborhood or in the school, they didn't clean houses. Their parents gave them money. Or if they didn't have money, they didn't buy it, but they didn't clean houses. I made the choice of saying, every job that you do, when it comes with honesty, it comes with respect, and you honor yourself, that money is worth it. And so I cleaned homes when I was 14 years old. And when I made enough money, the first thing I did was buy Levi's pants. It was blue corduroy, I'll never forget. And it was the original Nike shoes, the white one with the blue swish. And I bought those. And I used it, I think, until it was used up, because I loved it so much. And then if you think that stopped me from cleaning, no, I continue to clean houses. And then the next amount of money that I got, it was Israeli money. And I said to my dad, can you go to the bank? Because I didn't have a bank account. I said, can you go to the bank and exchange these shekels, the Israeli money currency, to dollars? Because one day I would live in America and one day I will need dollars. I did not know one American speaking, one English speaking person, nothing. But somehow in my subconscious, I don't know what to say, I knew that I needed to be in America. And short 7 years later, I end up in America with $600 and this one suitcase and my Nike shoes and my Levi's pants.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that, to think that you wanted these things, you couldn't get them, you went out of your way to earn the money to buy them.
Yeah.
But even more than that, I love that. I'm assuming that was a catalyst that went, wow, if I've set my mind on something, as much as it might in this case have been, Nike shoes and Levi jeans, which, by the way, I've got exactly the same story about that, but I didn't clean houses. But that then America came into your mind. And had you seen it on TV? Like, why America? Where did that come from?
Because, maybe because when I was in 9th grade, I used to watch The Love Boat, You know The Love Boat?
I love Boat. Yes.
Da, 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 da. And I just think everybody's so happy there. Everybody's so wealthy there. Everybody's right. It's like, so that's the image you have in your head, and you said, "I gotta have that. I gotta have that." And so, of course, it didn't happen until after my service in the army. But even at that time, I remember that tenacity that was built inside of who I am. If you want to get somewhere, do something. That was the only way to actually achieve anything. Is that right? You want to get someplace, do something. And so I came here, and I knew one person at that time when I came. I knew one person in the whole United States.
And how old were you?
21.
21. And where did you go in America? Because it's big. Where did you actually go?
Portland, Oregon, because the guy that I met, so I met this guy in Israel volunteering when I was 19. And when I was finishing my army service, he said to me, because remember, I had no money, he said to me, I will send you a ticket so you can come and see America. And I knew this guy from 2 years, and I knew that he was a good guy. And I said, he's not like one of these crazy people. And I said, you know what? I don't have any money. A guy's offering me a ticket to come to the US. Courageous number 2 here. Go.
Oh.
And here is the part that is not me being courageous, but my parents, whom I love dearly, they let me go.
Yeah.
So often as parents, right? I have 3 children. I'm like, you're not going to any new country. Are you kidding me?
With a ticket that the guy's bought you, like, hello.
The guy bought you. He bought me 2 ways. So it was 2 ways. I had 2-way tickets, but I don't know anything. I don't know how he lives. I don't know where I'm going to stay. I don't know anything, right? Nothing. I came, and I remember he had a girlfriend that he broke up with, but she was living in New York. So he said, she will meet you at the airport and she will help you transition to your next flight, because it was my first time ever on a plane.
Oh my goodness. So you're leaving your home country to go to a country and you've never even been on a plane before?
Never been on a plane before, broken English, knowing that I will meet somebody by the name of Lisa and in New York, and she will transition me into my next flight to Oregon, which is in the West Coast. So I came to the East Coast and I'm going to go to the West Coast. And he said she's fine. Never spoken to her in my life. Don't know anything about her. Don't know if she'll show up. Talk about courage. Courage.
And I'm assuming this is all back in the days when we didn't have social media, so you couldn't be tracking her on your phone or stalking her so you've got a better idea of what she looks like. None of that, which makes that courage even greater.
None of that. I did not know how she looked. It was 1986, December not. So I come, I don't see anybody coming to me by the name of Lisa as I come out of the plane. I'm like, okay, I'm going to learn my way, what to do. My English is not that great, but I can see a sign and I can go to customer service and just show them my next ticket and have them show me where to go with pointing their fingers. And that's what I did. So I got to TWA back then. TWA does not exist anymore nowadays.
Is it an
This
airline?
Yeah, it's an
Oh,
airline
right, yeah.
called TWA, which has stopped operating, I don't know, 2 decades ago. I don't know. So then I sit there and I got to where my next flight is. I'm sitting there because it was in a whole terminal. I had to take a train to the new terminal. All of these that nowadays, as travelers, as international speakers, we do all the time, which is kind of funny, right? Back
Yeah.
then, nothing. So I arrive, I'm sitting with my one suitcase next to me because I was kind of afraid to put it in the check-in because I did not know. So it was like a carry-on practically.
Yeah.
And then somebody comes and says to me, "Are you Dorice?" And I said, "Yes." And she says, "I'm Lisa. I'm so sorry. I'm late." So she, and that was fine. She said, and here she gives me a gift, 2 red ruby earrings. It's like a studs. And I was like, "That is so nice." She says, "I wanted to give you something nice. This is your first time in America. I wanted, so here I'm bonding with this woman I did not know before, right? And she was the ex-girlfriend of this guy that I met that I'm going to. And of course, the whole flight from New York to Portland, I'm thinking, why did this guy leave her? She's so nice.
Well, I'm actually thinking, yeah, this is the ex-girlfriend and she's doing this beautiful favor and brought a gift. That's odd. Yeah.
I know that's odd. And then I'm thinking, what is wrong with this guy I'm going to for letting her go? I mean, something must be wrong with him.
Were you romantically involved with this guy?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Right. And his ex-girlfriend's giving you a present and helping you, and you're the new girlfriend, so to speak. Oh my gosh.
So I'm like thinking, this is odd. This is crazy. So then I come and the boyfriend is waiting for me. It was like 2 a.m. He's waiting for me in Portland. I arrive and, and then he takes me to his parents' house. I stayed with his parents, which again, I don't know them. They don't know me. I don't know English, all of this. Now, very long story short, this man has been my husband for 38 years now.
Oh my God, I was going to say, did you actually end up with him? But there's the answer already. Oh my goodness. What a beautiful story. Like I'm such a lover of love, right? And I love a good love story. So you've just shared one of the most beautiful beginnings to a love story that involves the ex-girlfriend giving you a gift. Like that also shows though what kind of guy he must have been that the ex-girlfriend would do this favor for him. I don't know how they broke up or anything like that, but that he must be a good guy, right? And of course he's been your husband for all these years.
He's a good guy. He's a great guy. And we have 3 amazing grown-up adult children.
Oh, wow.
And he's been a really, and so supportive of me and my travel through life because, at the beginning of our marriage, I was in education. I was working in the education field.
Yes.
And in 2018, I made this pivoting to be a international public speaker, positive intelligence expert, all these author, all of that happened since 2018 to now.
Why? Okay, we need to go here. Dorice. Why? What happened in 2018 or what was happening in the lead up to you making this change to go from education into what you essentially are doing now? What happened? Because this is the stuff that I know people listening who are on that edge of something bigger themselves, and this is something I'm banging on about at the moment, going, well, what do I do? How do I go? Like, this is gold. So tell me what happened.
I'm going to tell you, and whoever is listening, I want you to listen really well because there is a light that only you can bring to the people, to outside. Only you, that light. There's many variation of light, but the light of yours can only be coming from you. So It started in 2015, that urge, need, desire for something different. And the reason was my sister, back at the time, 10 years younger than me, was diagnosed with very aggressive cancer. And she lived in Israel. I live here in America. And I said to myself, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? In the process of all of this, I decided in 2015 that I will just do videos every Saturday night with positive messages, so when she wakes up on Sunday morning, she can see it. And it could be because I couldn't travel to Israel on a once a month basis. So I started doing these video messages. And these video messages, long story short, it's all now in my book, my first book, Moments of the Heart, because it was time where I shared my heart with her, not knowing all these other people were watching these videos that I put on Facebook. Back in the day, I had not LinkedIn or anything like that, Facebook. So when in 2016 I went to celebrate her birthday, it was February, and I went to celebrate her birthday. Actually, no, it was 2017. I went to celebrate her birthday, and the day before I left Portland, I had a girlfriend come, and she gave me a book that was in a paperback, and she said to me, "Dorice, read that book on the plane." And I was like, okay. So I put that book in a paper bag, like almost like it was like a bottle of wine that you have to put in a paper bag, I put it in my bag, not looking what it is. But on the plane, sitting by the window, I pulled this book out, and it said, the name of the book was what grabbed me. It says, "The Universe Has Your Back."
Oh, Gabby Bernstein.
Exactly. So what I did, I read it, and I start crying because I felt she was writing to me. She was writing to me saying, hey, you have something that only you can give, and have trust, have faith. And I landed in Israel. I called my husband, connect to the Wi-Fi of the airport, and I was like, honey, I'm leaving in July. And Bob was like, what? Think about this. And I said, think about that. I'm 2 weeks here in Israel. When I come back, we can have a conversation. And that was really the impetus that says, I must leave this work, because when I started it 30 years before, I was not knowing what I wanted to do when I was 22. And I said to God, people who don't believe in God say to the universe, whatever. I said, what am I supposed to do here? What am I supposed to be here? And I kept on hearing, be a light to people. And at that time, when I was 22, with a broken English, to me, that meant go and teach something in education that comes from your heart. And because I was Israeli, so I knew Hebrew, and because I was a Jewish person, I gained the knowledge to teach anything about Judaism and anything about the Hebrew language to people. Fast forward 30 years, here I am again in that bottle, in this darkness, saying, God, what should I do now? What am I going to do now? And interestingly, I heard the same message, be a light to people. But this time, being 52 years old, I said, okay, that means not necessarily a light for the people who are going to come to me to receive that light, but me going to them to share my light with them. And that's what made me leave my job and do this, because I felt that it's my time to light everybody's up, to tell people that they are the champion in their own life. And that's why I chose the champion catalyst as my really title. I have the word oi to joy beforehand, because oi is when you have negative feelings and negative thoughts, and joy is the opposite, when things are amazing. And through my life, I went many, many times from oi to joy. And by doing that, I discovered the champion within myself. So why wouldn't I want to do it with every single person that I meet? And that was the origin of now my second book that is going to be on Amazon, on Barnes & Noble, on social, all of them. It's called Choose to Be Your Own Champion, the 6-step playbook to become your best self. And that's the second part. So here it is. I shared with you like my, all the correct pieces.
Oh, totally. And I just want to acknowledge that when you first said you rang your husband and said, I'm leaving, I was thinking, what, you're leaving him? But no, that you're leaving your job. The conviction that you knew at that point that you wanted to leave. And I know others get to the point where they're like, I cannot keep doing what I'm doing. I'm absolutely being called for something more, something different. There's a light inside of me that's trying to get out and shine brightly. But many stay in that point. They don't do something about it. Why did you do something about it? Like, even just calling him firstly is the whole acknowledgement externally, like not just, that inner feeling. Why did you do that and not just let it sit for longer?
That is such a beautiful and so thought-provoking question, right? Why do we do anything that we do, right? To me, it was, I actually physically felt in my heart more squeezing as the time went by when I didn't make a move. I physically felt the manifestation of not doing in a negative way. I actually I developed this acne on my jawline. I developed this swallowing problem that I had, that I couldn't swallow fully. Like, I would think that I can swallow, but then things will come up. I would not be able to digest food in a calm way. I actually had it affecting my body because of that. And at the beginning, of course, you don't make a connection at all. You just say, I have an indigestion problem. I have, a hereditary, genetic problem. I'm just getting older, I'm getting older. And then I'm saying, Dorice, listen to your heart, because a lot of the time people pay attention to their heads only and what the thoughts in their heads. They don't make the connection about the heart. So if the heart is not in alignment, you feel it. And I felt it literally, like, every time I would go to my previous workplace, to the building, I would feel suffocation.
Oh.
And like, I couldn't say it to the people who work there, because it wasn't, the people were lovely. It's not about the people, it's about, where do I see myself in my next phase of my life?
Yeah.
And I can tell you, the minute that I left there, so when I left, I didn't have my first book published or nothing. I didn't have a publishing company, nothing, zero. But the universe has your back, because I left July 1st. I met a girlfriend who published her book the first week in July. She was doing a talk. I went. She is not a girlfriend that I used to talk to. I knew about her, of her, but not really, never in a social environment. She talked. After that talk, I went to her and I said, hi, your talk was so wonderful. Maybe we could have coffee together. And she looks at me and she says, Dorice, nobody never invites me. I would love that.
Oh.
So I said to her, you know what? Why don't you come to my house and we'll have dinner in my backyard, just you and I. And she's like, that would be amazing. So she comes over to my house. We're having a dinner, talking about all sorts of things. And then at the end, she says to me, do you want me to introduce you to my publisher? Now, get this. I did not apply to any publishing company. I did not send my book to anybody. I did not know anything about the publishing process. I did not know if I wanted to do it self-publishing, mid-publishing ways, not traditional, but midway, nothing. She says, I'll introduce you. She introduced me to the publisher. The publisher responds. I make an appointment with him. He gives me a half an hour. We have a Zoom, just like this. And he asks me all these questions. And after half an hour, I hear a cling on his Zoom, which means to me, time is up, Dorice. Your 30 minutes are up. So don't take more time, because be respectful. So I say to him, David, I heard that our time is up. I don't want to impose any moments extra. And he's like, oh, no, don't pay attention to that. If I want to cut you off, I'll cut you off in 20 minutes. But I'm so into it, I want to listen to more. So anyway, we talk for an hour and 10 minutes. And then he says to me, please send me what you have. And I said to him, it's not yet fully edited. It's just a Word document. It's a blah, 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 blah. And he said to me, it's fine. I just want to see your style, where it's going. And he said, and don't upload it to the company uploads where all the authors uploads. Just send it in an email to me. So I'm sending him to the email. That's July 21st. I have this time with him because I remember it because it was my daughter's birthday. That's how I remember it. And then my daughter is getting married on August 10th. And he says to me, give me a couple of weeks. I will know more then. So my daughter's wedding comes. She gets married on the east side, in the East Coast. We all fly. There's hotel room. There's guests coming. I'm in the hotel room the day before the wedding. I get a phone call from David. And he says, Dorice, are you sitting? And I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking, oh my God, my heart is like, and he says, to me, you're publishing your book and it needs to be ready in about 3 months. Can you get it ready? And I'm like, oh my God. I start running around the hotel room like a crazy woman running around there. And I'm like, and then after I hang up with him, I sit down to myself and I said, okay, Dorice, your daughter is getting married. You cannot speak about this until after her wedding because it's about her. It's not about you. It's about her. It's about her. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's not about you. And I'm okay. I'm not going to say anything. But let me tell you, the whole wedding, I'm grinning because A, I'm happy my daughter's getting married to the man that she loves most of everything in the world. And I'm also grinning because I'm going to be a published author.
Oh my God. Dorice, like this is so good. How old are you at this point?
I was 52.
Oh,
52 years old.
oh my God, I love this. This is so beautiful. You're 52. You're writing a book. You've never written a book before. You've decided you're going to leave education, which you've been doing for 30 years, and you're 52. Like, this is so beautiful. How old are you now? Can I ask?
Yes, you may ask. I'm 59.
Oh my gosh. And I do remember when I met you and I asked the same question and I just forgot what the answer was. And I remember thinking, oh my God, you look like you're 32.
Oh my God. How old are you? How old are you, if I may?
3.
53. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're a babe.
Yeah, I'm a baby. Yeah, I'm still a baby. Oh, I love you. That's so gorgeous. But this is so beautiful that you've taken a chance on you, which is not really a chance because you back yourself and you believe the universe has got your back because of the whole reading that Gabby Bernstein book and everything. This is just such a beautiful moment. How did your husband receive when you said at first, I'm leaving? Because you've got all this stuff going on, right? You've got the physical symptoms as well. And I love that you hadn't put the two together, that the whole working in education, these physical symptoms that are now showing up in your body. I want to talk about that in a sec. But when you ring him and say, you know, honey, I'm leaving my job, not you, what did he do? What was his reaction?
I want to tell you. And Bob allows me to speak about it because it's part of the journey, which I think is really important. So when I was at the airport and I called him and I said, honey, I'm leaving. And he said, let's talk about it when you come back. And I said, absolutely. But I will die if I stay in that job. I said, I will die if I stay in that job, just so you know. So then 2 weeks later, I come and we have a conversation. And and he said to me, honey, what about if you find a job at Nike or at Intel, a project manager here? And I said, hon, you are not understanding where I'm going. And at the beginning, I tried the year before. I tried to find those jobs because it was for 3 years that I had this inkling in me, and I thought maybe I'll just jump to a different boat on the same ocean, but a different boat. And what I decided is that because it didn't get traction, and I said I need to jump into the ocean. I need to jump into the ocean, not into a different boat. And that ocean is going to teach me how to swim. So I said to Bob, I said, honey, I want to say something. I said, I love you very much. We had an incredible 31 years of great marriage. I said, I do not blame you for not wanting for not wanting uncertainty, which is really what I'm offering right now. I got job in the past. I had a fixed amount of income. I did this, and my husband is a very rational man. I'm not. Okay, so I, I'm not. I'm just saying it out loud. But
Gathering. Yeah. Yep.
I said, I will not blame you if you say you do not want to hitch your wagon into my wagon. I get it. So I am going to be okay letting you go because I do not want to affect you what my choices are. But I do not want to change where I'm going because of your wishes. I said it needs to be you're either with me or I am by myself. I did. I said that.
Oh,
I
this
said,
is, I mean, this is courage.
this is courage.
This is courage because, you know, courage, the Latin like word for courage is core, which means heart. And to
Mhm.
me, courage is about speaking from the heart. You've done that.
Yeah,
I'm
I did.
assuming he didn't let you go.
So he said to me, and this is true. He said to me, "Can I think about it?" He said to me, "Can I think about it?" And I said, "Absolutely. I'm giving you to think about it. Not a problem. Just know I am leaving the work."
Yes.
And he came 4 days later, and he's like, "I'm with you. Let's do it. I'm with you. 4 days. I'm with you. Let's do it."
What in that 4 days, if you're aware, was going through his mind? Like what was it that he needed to say, I need to think about it?
It's really interesting. I never asked him what went through his head for 4 days when he was thinking about that. But what I think went through his head, knowing him for so long as I do, he probably said, I know this young curly hair girl that came at the age of 21 and made something out of nothing. And why would I leave that? Why would I leave that? Why would I leave something that made something out of nothing? Yes, now we're going back to nothing, but there's going to be something because that's how she works. And then he said, what he did tell me, he said, I know that everything you touch turns to gold. So I had to trust you that this will turn into gold.
That is absolutely beautiful. Oh my gosh. And this happens a lot too. When women particularly, and I'm not saying this is limited to them, but when women go through this, the years leading up, the shake, rattling and rolling inside, and then they do make the decision to move. And they're going off in a journey that's now not aligned with where their partner was. And they're going in separate directions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That not always does their journey then come back together on the same path, even though they're doing this. So this is really interesting. And thank you for sharing, because for those listening in who are going through this, I've been through this myself, and my partner did also come along. I didn't have such a straight conversation, but maybe I need to have that. Mind you, but different ballgame.
Well, you're 53. I'm giving you another year to have that conversation.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And I think he'd be like, our kids are young still. So, yeah. But I love that you do that. Can I ask, when you did leave your job and then start doing this work and start, getting into the book and all of that, did your physical symptoms clear up?
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
There's no acne. Look. And there's no makeup on my face right now as you see it. There's zero makeup. I do not have makeup
on your face.
I don't have any makeup on my like foundation. I have eye shadow and mascara and a lipstick, but my skin that's my skin. There is nothing on it.
Okay, I need your skin. That is just ridiculous.
Nothing on my skin. There's nothing on my skin. There's no nothing. There is moisturizer that I put earlier on today. It's 6 p.m. for us. I put it on at 8 a.m. That's it.
Wow. And for those who are just listening on the podcast version, not watching on YouTube, her skin, seriously, you're 59, her skin is flawless. That to say she's got no makeup on as well as this, oh my goodness. Oh, whatever you've got, I want it, Dorice. This is just delicious. Oh, I love it.
Drink lots of water, honestly. Like lots of water.
I drink a lot of water, but I don't have skin like you.
Well, I'm darker. They say black don't crack. There's the saying.
Yeah.
a gift of being, there's a lot of negative things about being a dark-skinned woman,
Yes.
but then there's a lot of positive things. This is
Oh,
one of the positives.
that's one of the positives. Yeah. Hey, can I ask, when you're a little girl growing up, you know how we often go, when I grow up, I want to be or do this thing. What was that for you? What did you think you wanted to be when you grew up?
I always said the teacher. When I
A
grew up, I want
teacher.
to be a teacher. And guess what? I was.
Yeah.
I ran the education department for 16 years. I was teacher for 30 years. And you know what? What I do now is also
Yeah.
part of educating people. You heard
Yeah.
it, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
and so I think part of our light is using our strength in the process. What
Yeah.
is our superpower that only we know what it is?
Hmm.
And it's not that difficult to find out if we just like sit around and say, like, what's the gift that maybe other people take, other people realize that, but you yourself take it for granted.
Yeah.
And I think the idea
Yeah.
of teaching, the idea of coming with energy is something that I think both you and I
Yes.
are maybe taking it for granted because this is how we
Yeah.
are wired.
Yeah.
But for other people, this is gold.
Oh,
This is
absolutely.
gold.
Totally. And I used to teach my teddy bears when they were really young, or when I was really young. They haven't aged. And I used to teach them as though I was really teaching them. I used to mock up tests and then mark the tests and all of that, which is hilarious. I now just do it with humans, which is really cool. Can I just go back and ask? Like, you talk about oi to joy, and joy is obviously the happy moments. Oi is not so much. Can you share a moment in your life where you've had to go from oi to joy, so that like that really cements some of this whole oi joy transition?
Well, I can give you an example like professional, or I can give you an example personal.
Can do both.
One of the professional goals that I have is okay. One of the professional goals that the professional always that I had was I did not get along with somebody that was hired into our organization, and he was my boss, and and we just kept on bumping heads constantly with one another, so much so that it really took my energy, and it was in my education world, one of my 16 years, and I felt deflated. It was an oi feeling. I tried to avoid him, and he was my boss. I tried to avoid him, he's trying to avoid me. I was longer time in the organization, he just came new. The board hired him as the rabbi, as the leader, and they sent me a letter saying, if you do not get along with him, we have to fire you, even though we love you and you're doing all these good things. That was an oi. That was such an oi. And during that time, after like 5-6 months of this, my husband wanted to cheer me up, and he's like, let's go to Las Vegas and just have a weekend away. And I do not kid you, Kim, the whole flight from Portland, Oregon to Las Vegas, which is about 2-hour flight, I cried the entire time because I felt like so defeated. And then here's how the transition happened. I was in Las Vegas, and I thought to myself, I am so miserable. This is not even funny. I am like, what is that really what I want to be in this world? Do I want to feel those negative emotions day in and day out? There's no way I want to get older like this. So I said, if somebody needs to change, it must be me. If somebody needs to be the courageous and take this first step forward, it must be me, because clearly he's not going to do it. So that weekend was a shift into my own mindset, as if I'm not going to be a victim. This is going to be victorious. How do we get there? So Monday morning, I came back from Las Vegas Sunday night. Monday morning, I go to our office. I knock on his door. He says, yes, come in. I come in. He's like, oh God, what does she want? Right? It's like, oh my God, hell is happening again on a Monday morning. So here's what I come say. I said to him, hi, can we go for coffee every Monday morning at like 7:30 in the morning before we start, just to connect a little bit? If you could pick his jaw from the ground, you would be scraping it from the ground because that's where it landed. He was not expecting Dorice Horenstein to offer him to come for Starbucks, okay? No. But he was so shocked that he said yes. So guess what? We start going to coffee every Monday for 4 months. At the end of the 4 months, our relationship totally shifted. If you asked him today what he thinks of me, he's now moved to Nevada, he's he's retired. He will tell you I'm the sister he never had. This is his phrase, his exact phrase. I'm the sister he never had.
And the sister he loves. Just get that right. Yeah.
The sister that he loves, because we are this close now, super close. And I think it happened because I made a change in me, because I was willing to see him and connect with him on a human level, which is what you are doing, right?
Yeah.
On a human level. And then when I started connecting with him, I started to become his friend. When I start to become his friend, I start to understand the mindset, the values, what he's trying to accomplish. And then I also started to see where my ego was in the way and my pride was in the way to prevent him from being the great guy that he could be, because I was very controlling on what was. I was in the building before him. People loved me. People were around me, and I liked that feeling. And I was not going to give that to him, right? And he needed me. He needed me to bring him into the groups that already trust me. See, and I did not do that, which is bad on me. But I realized that the more I got to know him and who he is. And then he got to understand me. He said, oh my God, you're a powerhouse that I want to go side by side along, because beforehand he was like, she's my worker, she's underneath me. And that did not work well for me. So once we understood the human element in this environment, it was like, whoa, let's do this. Okay. And then we became friends like you would not believe. Everything we did together, a team like no other. But it took the courageous first step on saying, hey, you want to go for coffee? Knowing that I'm going to shock the heck out of him. Right?
Yeah.
And so that was my business, professional life. In my own personal life.
Before you go on, I just want to say thank you for sharing that, because there is so much gold in what you just said, and in admission that it was your ego that was getting attacked here, because the threat of him and who he was, for you to be able to, one, almost self-diagnose this problem and then go with a solution like this and have to, probably swallow, put your tail between your legs and do all of that. You did that and you turned it around. And it's such a beautiful example of when we do let our egos get in the way, when we do make assumptions and we let all of that stuff block what really is there with the connection at human, that is just gold. Thank you for sharing that story. Cool. And so now, sorry, I cut you off when you were about to share your personal one.
This is a beautiful conversation, and it feels like we can talk for hours. And I know we don't have as much time, but here it is. Here's the personal one.
Yeah.
When my son, who is now 30, when he was 22, we went on a trip, mother-son trip, and I was the driver and he was next to me, and we were going to the beach for the weekend. And he said, Mom, I have something to tell you. And I was like, what? And I'm like, what is he going to tell me? I don't know what, the thoughts in your mother's head is like, whoa, what is going to tell me? And he said to me, I think I like men. And I said, okay. And he started to cry and tears. The kid is 22 years old, adult, but he cried like a 5-year-old. And I'm driving, right? And I'm in my head, I'm thinking, okay, this is oi, but it's not really an oi. I put my hand on his lap and I said, sweetie, why are you crying? Did you steal anything from anybody? Did you take something that doesn't belong to you to anybody? Did you treat somebody in an unkind way? He said, I don't want to ruin your dreams of having me marry a woman and have grandchildren and share this. And my heart squeezed so much. And but what came out of it, I mean, it was an oi for him at that moment. But then I said to him, sweetie, I will love whoever you choose. Because you know why? Because you are the best son I could ever have. I mean, yes, we do have a third child. But you're the one who's talking to me right now.
Yeah.
I said, right now it's you and me in the car. I said, no, when you're happy, when you're satisfied in life, I'm satisfied in life. Don't worry about children. I said, and by the way, a lot of gay couples have children. So,
Yes.
hello, you know. So, fast forward 8 years. He's now 30 years old at the time that we're recording this. He's married to the most beautiful husband in the whole world. They had the most beautiful wedding. The husband comes from an incredible family. They both lead professional lives that are so rich and beautiful. And I couldn't be happier. So that's oi time in our family life, because you could see the sadness of your own child,
Yeah.
and the despair of your own child,
Yeah.
feeling like he has failed us.
Yeah.
And while he didn't. And that was, we're going to turn that oi that you're right now feeling, that this is right now happening in the car, we're going to turn it into joy, because you are going to flourish, because you are good. Your light is good. Your light is positive. And I think that's that when you ask what's an oi to, that's the first thing on a personal level that I remember, like in my heart. There's more than oi than once. And in my book, by the way, there is an oi that I mentioned here that is heartbreaking. And it's about me flying down the stairs with my 1-week-old granddaughter in my arms and landing on the floor, cradling her. So she did not fly out. But the damage that it caused my daughter, who is the mother of this child, and the anxiety and the anxiousness that was built inside of me, did I hurt that priceless granddaughter, which I didn't.
Yes.
The only person I actually hurt was myself. I had to have the laser surgery in my eye, and all sorts of other things that happened in my body because of the falling down the stairs. But she was safe. The baby was safe. And the whole oi was being able to forgive myself.
Yeah.
For having an accident. This was an accident. So forgiving myself for having the accident. And every time I read that in my printed book, I get emotional, because because I can feel the feelings again, and I can remember the stairs exactly, and I remember how I fell, and I remember how my daughter was flying down the stairs after having surgery to get the kid out, but coming running down the stairs to see if her child is alive. That was an oi. That was an oi that God forbid should never happen again. And it took me months to get over that, and to see the piece of joy that came out of it. And the piece of joy, the one piece of joy, there's many, but my son-in-law comes to me and says to me 4 weeks later, he says to me, Dorice, thank God it was you that came down the stairs and fell. Because if it was me, I don't know if I was going to hold on to the baby.
Yeah.
He said, so thank you for saving my kid. And that to me was like, wow. What just happened?
What a beautiful, though, example of oi to joy. And that in all of these examples, actually, the joy has come from the mindset and the stuff within you that has allowed you to turn. The situation couldn't change, but that mindset and how you've approached it and dealt with it has turned from an oi moment to a joy moment. Oh my gosh. And anyone who wants to read, I've got all the goose bubbles and fruit, but we've got to read the book, right? So we've got to buy Choose to Be Your Own Champion. Oh my God, I'm going to stick all the links in the show notes.
Yes.
Dorice, oh wow, seriously want to talk to you forever. However, in the sake of not going on for 20 hours now, what's one thing, or there could be a number, but just one thing right now that you've got to reach in and find some courage for?
Um, I mean, there's many things, but here's what I'll share. I've never spoken on a floor of a trade show company with thousands of people passing by and me speaking. And I'm going to do it for the first time in my life. And I don't even know, what does that mean? Like, who is going to sit? I mean, are they going to sit? Are they going to stand? Are they going to walk by? How are they going to listen to me? I don't know anything. And yet I'm jumping full legs in the ocean into this experience and hoping that I will make such an impact on that one person, because the universe has my back, one person that then will say, I want to hire her to come and actually do a talk when everybody's listening rather than passing by and vendors are everywhere and noises are everywhere. So that is, to me, a courageous thing I've never done. And I'm looking forward to doing it this coming October.
Oh, that is so exciting. And I'm sure it is going to be a huge success because it sounds like everything you touch turns to gold. You've totally got your own back. Yes, the universe has your back, but you've got your own back. And you've got the mindset that can turn any oi into a joy if done with the right intention, which you have, which is beautiful. I have loved talking to you. Now, I will put all the links in the show notes, but is there anything that we need the listeners to know about to find out a bit more about you, or where you hang, or something for them that you want to share other than what's in the show notes?
Okay, so you can visit me at doricehorenstein.com. That's my website.
Yes.
I have all my offerings there, what I do, what I speak. If you know, and you're from Australia, and if you know, I would love to come to Australia to give a talk. That I'm putting it out there. That would be amazing.
And I'm trying to channel that one for you too. Absolutely. Yeah.
Preferably in the summer, of course, right? In the summer.
Absolutely.
In your
Yeah.
summer. In your summer.
Yeah. Our summer. Yeah. Done.
Amazing. So that'll be amazing. And, if you ever want to be coached by me for positive intelligence, which is my methodology that we didn't get a chance to get into it, but you can read stuff on my website. Send me an email. Let's have a discovery call. Let's see. And I'm going to give you a gift because I love you all. I'm going to give you a gift. Two gifts. One of them is a song that I commissioned that talk about champion your joy. And you can listen to it, and it's going to be like, it's a very American country style. So I hope you will enjoy it. So that's my gift to you. And another gift that I want to give you is a self-saboteur assessment for you to find out what blocks you, what stops in your way of being courageous, of getting to the next level. So it is come from Positive Intelligence. And but I will send you the link, and you can put them in the show notes. And I would be delighted for people to be connected to me through Positive Intelligence, through my motivational speaking, through my song, Champion Your Joy. That would be great.
And can I say, because I was at Dorice's keynote, so this whole thing about the saboteurs was so cool. And when I spoke after you, it flowed so beautifully. I was using some of your terminology. I don't know if you remember, which was cool.
Yes.
And her song, just take her up on her gift because it's absolutely beautiful.
That's right. You have my song. You downloaded my song.
Yes, I did download it. I did all of that. And I get your emails every week, and I'm a huge fan, which means I was so looking forward. To getting to know more about you, the person. And I think, before people sign up, say for coaching or mentoring or whatever, when you get to know more about who they are and some of their journey, I feel it's more endearing, and you get connected to them at a level that we don't always get to see. Like the stories that you've shared today were not stories I knew about. And I've already seen you on stage and already a huge super fan. But I'm an even bigger fan now because I know more about that human that you are. Kind of like maybe when you went to have coffees every Monday with your boss, and when you got to know him, that you actually ended up becoming, the sister he never had. Like, it's kind of that feeling. So I feel even more endeared. I'm going to put all the details for anyone to go and get those gifts from Dorice. Very, very generous of you. And we'll have to have you back in 12 months to one, well,
Let's
I need
do
to know
it.
personally how the trade show goes. But two, we'll have you back and we'll do the live recording here in Australia. How about that?
Oh, okay. That would be amazing. Let's put it out there into the universe because we
Yes.
know the universes are back.
Yes,
And let's
absolutely.
make that happen. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Somebody who's listening right now say, hey, I can bring Dorice onto a stage and then Kim will speak too. And
Yes.
the two of us will.
Exactly. And then we'll record a follow-up podcast in person and we're going to tick all of our little boxes that we're now putting out there. Thank you, universe. We are very grateful.
Yes. And not only that, we can do a fireside chat with
Yes.
two of us sitting on these beautiful sofas, and interviewed by somebody else in front of 700 people.
7,000, love. 7,000.
7,000. I just made it intimate, but yes, let's go 7,000.
Yeah, I'll give you both. I love it. I love it. You and I could sit here all day and solve world peace. It sounds so exciting. Dorice Horenstein, thank you. Thank you all the way from America. Thank you for blessing this Courageous Me podcast with your beautiful stories of courage, your incredible positive energy, and just for being all the beautiful things that you are in this world. I'm so grateful to be connected with you and to be your friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you. I know I made a friend for life. Thank you.
Thank you.